What's up, guys? Coach Gaglione here. This is going to be a Meathead mobility / Meathead meditation. At the time of this taping, I'm about 4 weeks out from my first bodybuilding show. And one of the things I've been trying to harp on is that although on the surface it seems like a physical transformation, this is more of a mental and spiritual transformation. So I'm trying to showcase to a lot of lifters kind of the importance of the mindset. And one of the things that you could do in order to do that is to have some form of meditation. I like to be active in my meditation where I'm kind of doing some things versus just kind of sitting there. So I'll focus on my breath. I might focus on doing some kind of mobility moves, if you will. But all that is really kind of doing for me personally, it's giving me something to focus on. And by focusing on something that is kind of arbitrary in a sense, I don't know if it's completely arbitrary, but it allows you to kind of block out the rest of the noise inside your head. Maybe some negative thoughts, maybe some doubt, or just maybe things that are just kind of taking up space in your brain. We want to try to eliminate things that are kind of distractions or things that may shift your focus away from what's truly important. So for me, it comes down to kind of building a stronger community. It comes down to making an impact and helping others. So while I feel like I am completely healthy, I feel like I don't really need to make any more progress in terms of my own weight loss or fat loss. I think I could, the trouble is, well, number one, when you get complacent, sometimes that could be a detriment and you can kind of fall backwards. So my business coach would always used to say, you want to be like a shark. And a shark, if it stops swimming, eventually it'll die. So there's times where you smell blood in the water and you need to kind of accelerate and move very quickly. And there's other times where you're kind of just circling. So you're always moving. That's kind of the key. So for me, consistently kind of setting challenges for myself, consistently setting goals for myself allows me to kind of keep moving in a positive direction. And that is something I try to do and lead by example. We talk about leading the front. So, but all this stuff is great, but if you're not in the proper frame of mind to do it, it's kind of a moot point. So one of the things that we're going to kind of go over today, I'm just going to kind of show you and try to showcase some things that I'm doing to get myself mentally prepared for the bodybuilding stage. This is something that's been a 5-year goal in the making. If this is your first time stopping by, I've been as heavy as 340 pounds. My weight's been fluctuating between 205 and like 210 on most days through like kind of the end of my cutting phase. And I'm just trying to get a little bit under 200 for like my stage weight and then kind of build back up. I'd like to kind of maintain, I'd like to kind of hang out in like that 210, 215 range long term. But I know in order for me that to be kind of my set point, I'm gonna have to kind of go a little bit beyond that, and get a little bit uncomfortable. So as things get more challenging, as I get more anxious, nervous, you want to kind of try to turn that nervous and anxious energy into more excitement, and you can kind of turn that kind of positive, that negative into a positive. So the first thing I want you guys to do, so if you're a bigger guy like me, or you are a lifter, and you've never kind of done some meditation or yoga, I think it's just good to start with just simple breath work. And what's great about powerlifting is that most powerlifters kind of at least understand a little bit about diaphragmatic breathing. So we don't want to breathe into our chest too much. We want to try to breathe, for lack of a better term, into our belly and have that belly rise and fall. So I have a mat here. You can have a pillow, whatever is kind of comfortable. So this allows me to get in a more comfortable upright position. You may be able to come from the floor. I just have a hard time sitting cross-legged, so I like to have the mat here. It gives me a little bit of a boost. So we're gonna do some diaphragmatic breaths, kind of breathing into the belly. So if you're not sure how to do that, you can put one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach, and we want to try to have the belly kind of rise first and a little bit deeper. And if you're more advanced, you could just kind of keep your hands here. And if we're doing this kind of for more relaxation purposes, more meditative purposes, more kind of decompressive purposes, I like to focus on mostly nasal breathing only, and definitely nasal breathing from definitely an inhalation standpoint. The more we can kind of get air through the nose and breathe out through the nose, I find that helps you kind of down-regulate and kind of decompress and kind of empty the mind and recover a little bit better. So even if you kind of don't really feel like you need the mindset work, if you want to kind of use this as a means of like kind of active recovery, because I think sometimes us kind of type A people, we tend to not take those rest days serious. So this is a good way to kind of be a little bit active in a sense, but still kind of force yourself to actually take a real rest day. So, and I know for myself that is definitely a challenge, as right now I'm training 6 days a week. I'm doing some sort of cardio every single day, even if it is low intensity. So having this is a nice way to kind of unwind. So we're gonna get started. Enough talking. I want you to breathe in and try to take a deep breath as you can. Hold, and then exhale fully. So for someone that's more advanced, you may just be able to kind of just chill here for a while. I would start with just a few minutes, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe up to 5. And for me, if I start to go a little longer than like 10 minutes of just actual breath work, I just feel like I get a little too antsy. So start with something small. I think somewhere between like 2 and 5 minutes is a great place to start. There's different apps you could kind of use, like Headspace, or there's a Pranayama app. Hopefully I said that right. But there's different things you can kind of use to kind of cadence, or different music you can kind of listen to help. You can kind of time your breath with the music. And sometimes, like right now, like I have the doors open, the garage doors open, and kind of listen, focus on maybe some sounds. I could focus maybe on the feeling of the sun, focus on maybe the birds or the winds, just whatever's kind of around you. By focusing on those things, you can block out any kind of noise that you may have. And even just after a couple breaths, I do feel a lot more calm. I feel a lot more better. I'm not focused on anything that happened earlier this morning or anything that's going to happen later today. So if you want to go from, you could also do this from a lying down position. You can put a pad in between your knees, or you can elevate your feet on something. So whatever's kind of comfortable. And again, I could have one hand on my belly, one hand on my heart. I could just also kind of go what I would call like a starfish position and completely lay out, or completely extend. Just go whatever's comfortable. You can close your eyes or keep your eyes open. I always close my eyes. You can also think about something you're grateful for, and then remember a time when you were grateful, and try to feel those feelings and put yourself there. When you put yourself in a vibration of being grateful, since it's one of the highest kind of things you could feel in terms of vibrations, it really puts you in a good positive frame of mind for the rest of the day. This is also a good time you can use to visualize a goal you're working towards. So for me, I'm visualizing myself kind of going through my posing routine. So I'm visualizing myself going through like my front relaxed pose, quarter turn, side relaxed pose, quarter turn, back relaxed pose, quarter turn, side relaxed pose, quarter turn, and now back to front relaxed. And then from there, I might visualize myself going through our front double biceps pose. And then from there, a front lat spread. And then quarter turn. Side chest pose. Quarter turn. Excuse me, sorry. Side triceps pose first. And then quarter turn to the rear. And then a back double biceps. And then from there, a back lat spread. And then a quarter turn, again to the front for the ab and thigh. And then finally, the most muscular pose. So I'm going through all the different scenarios in my head, visualizing the positions I'm going to put my feet, where I'm going to put my hands. I'm going to draw in my abs. I'm going to spread my shoulder blades apart. I'm going to flex my arms, bring my pinkies up toward the ceiling. So there's lots of things that you could do in order to practice kind of the event without actually doing the event. And you could do the same thing with a powerlifting meet. We have different visualizations and imagery sessions for that. You could do the same thing for any type of competition. But you kind of visualizing yourself going through the scenarios, putting yourself at the contest venue, putting yourself in the place where you're going to achieve your goal. You're kind of building those motor pathways, you're building more confidence, and you're doing repetitions in your mind. So the more you kind of practice, whether it be physical or mental practice, you're still practicing those skills, you're still rehearsing the contest. So you're more prepared. My old wrestling coach used to always ask us, would you be afraid to fight a first grader? And the answer is always like no, and he would ask why, and it's, the answer is because, you know the outcome. You know you're going to win. So the more you kind of practice, the more you kind of go through that, going through that, the outcome will be more clear to you because you've kind of been there, whether it be in a physical sense or a mental sense or a spiritual sense. So imagery can be a very powerful thing. It's something I'm going to be using more and more even after the show, for not just kind of the bodybuilding, not just for the powerlifting, but for things that you kind of want to manifest to happen in your life. And the one thing I invite you to, if you are new to some of this stuff, is just to be open to trying it. Be open to new things, be open to learning. There's so much. That's one thing I've learned the past six months. I guess it's 7 months now. But this past half year of focusing on bodybuilding training and having that white belt mentality and just being open to learning new things. So even though I have a lot of knowledge, I've been in competitive powerlifting and coaching for over 14 years. This is my first time trying something new. And I'm learning a lot. I'm going to be able to learn these new skills and apply these new skills to other avenues and other goals. And even when I go back to powerlifting, doing my next contest, I will be better because I'll have more tools in my toolbox. So I invite you to try something new. I invite you to open up your mind. And I hope this imagery session, this Meathead meditation, a little bit of mobility, we did a little bit of breath work. I hope this Meathead meditation finds you well. If this helped you, please share it with a friend. Please check out the links below. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, namaste strong, and I'll see you soon.